Step into the light. How's everyone feeling? I got some woos, but overall it was a very, very tired woo. I know. It was a good lunch though, right? Can everyone just stand up and do jumping jacks or something? Honestly, you guys need it. This is ridiculous. All right, well, this is a good time because we're going to jump into ignites, and ignites are always a good way of igniting the energy in the room, because as some of you experienced last night with Ignite Karaoke, it's hard. It is hard. So I hope you have an appreciation for the speakers that are going to be coming up here shortly. It is a challenge to make a good point in 15 seconds for every given slide that you have, and make a good cohesive point within 5 minutes. So we're excited to have them up. So first up, we have James from Ansible here. James, you ready for this?
I'm ready. You ready? Mic is on. Let's roll.
Let's do it.
I got to switch.
Go Teams.
James, if this doesn't work, you're going to have to speak to our rotating slides,
exactly.
if that's cool.
You should be good.
There we go.
All right, guys.
You're on the clock.
So I work at Ansible, and I deal a lot with working with customers who are trying to implement automation into their environment. Unfortunately, there are a lot of pitfalls when trying to implement automation in your environment. One of those first pitfalls you have is, what the hell tool do I use? Do I use Ansible Chef, Puppet, Salt, CF Engine? The answer, as my colleague Nathan Harvey would say, is yes. Choose a tool. Do not create your own tool. There's much better things you can do than creating your own automation tools. And in the same respect, don't choose all of the tools, right? You don't want to create what I call automation silos, where there's many members of your teams and your organizations using different automation tools. It forces you it doesn't allow you to be able to collaborate further on down the road. Once you have chosen a tool, take the time to learn this tool, right? You don't want to sort of go fly by night. Oh, I'm going to learn X today, and it's going to be awesome, and I'm going to deliver awesome things in production tomorrow. No, it's not going to happen that way. Take the time to learn the tool and the resources that are available. You're going to have to lose your ego in the learning process, right? You're going to have to ask friends, mailing list people, meetup groups, people on IRC. Lose that ego and ask for the help, because it's going to help you down the road. And when you're asking, the next thing you want to do is start asking why. Embrace your inner 2-year-old. Ask people in your organization, your dev team, why are you deploying things this way? Your ops team, why are we using this tool? Why are we doing things this way? Until they hate you. Just keep asking why, and you're going to figure out what you need to automate and what you need to fix. This guy, he's in one of all of our organizations. I call him the change blocker. He's the one who says, well, we can't do automation because... right? And somebody's always going to try to block the work you're doing, especially when it's brand new. And a lot of times that has to do with their own fear of their own job security. And the only way you can fix this problem, I found, is that you let these people know that your job is not going away. You're just going to be doing different things, right? Your knowledge of the intricacies of MySQL configuration files aren't that important, but we can let you do and train you to do more interesting things. You need to separate your company's unique needs from their shitty practices, right? Don't spend time automating shitty practices. Figure out what those practices, those processes, and the workflows are, and fix them before you automate them. Once you've gotten there, you need to come up with a plan, right? Everybody loves it when a plan comes together. And there's a lot of things you need to plan. Planning your teams, planning your organizational structure for your automation, planning the tools that you're going to use, like we talked about previously. Well, the first step to that plan is talking to your boss. Your boss is going to be your enabler. He's going to be the person who gives you the time allocated to do the kind of work. But sometimes your boss is a little bit clueless sometimes. And so you might need to inform your boss what the difference is between DevOps and automation. Because your boss would say, oh, I heard about DevOps, we need that. But what he really means is you need automation. So make sure you don't have some false sense of understanding. He doesn't have some false sense of understanding of what DevOps is. Make sure he knows the difference. Don't try to over-genericize your automation to fit the needs of the world, because you're going to shift your complexity from your stack to your automation tool, and that's not important. Think about the problems you need to solve for your team, for your organization, not the world's, or else you're going to spend a lot of time. Set some standards, right? You need to set the bar for your automation, and that includes setting standards for style guides, for documentation, for tooling, like we talked about before, to prevent silos. People are always going to try to go underneath the bar, so set one. And one of those standards you really want to come up with is testing, right? Testing is very important. You want to make sure that the automation code that you're developing in your development environment is going to work in production and with the results that you're expecting. Think about ways that you're organizing your code. We've all seen desktops like this, and you don't know how these people function. I've seen people do this with their infrastructure code. Please use version control and keep your automation scripts, whatever you're using, in version control so you work collaboratively with a team. And for God's sakes, don't automate all the things. You're going to waste your time. This automate all the things thing is a terrible meme. People spend a lot of time automating worthless things. Automate the things that are going to make your company money, that are error prone, that's going to save you real amounts of time, that's going to convince your team members to love you. Don't automate things that are marginally useful and do really creepy, quirky things, right? You need to make automation that is powerful and useful for people, or they're not going to care what it is. Work independently in teams. Automate your parts of your stack independently, like little Voltron lions, so we can work asynchronously. And then at the end, you can form this awesome automation Voltron. And I just got a screensaver. And you can form this automation Voltron. And lastly, you have to be the champion of your automation, right? You think it's cool, that's great. Maybe the guy sitting or girl sitting next to you think it's cool. You need to convince everyone in your organization that your automation is cool so you can do more automation and drive your company to be more automated.
So next up, we have one of our sponsors to come give a quick 1-minute talk. Please be sure to visit all of our sponsors, as if we didn't have them, we couldn't have this. So next we have Augusto from Shomi.
Hi, everyone. I'm Augusto. I guess we are probably the only sponsor that is not a vendor and is trying to sell you something. Shomi, we're a video streaming service. I don't know, do you guys know how much a human brain can store by any chance? Anyone? A human brain, they estimate it can store about 2.5 petabytes of data. So, and without releasing too much metrics, this is the kind of volumes of data something like Shomi is doing it. Above that, how many human brains are you going to be doing at the end of 2015? Or, you know, the latest gadgets, Apple TV, Chrome, Xbox, all those things. So 2 reasons I sponsored DevOps Days. I'm a strong believer of the movement. It's amazing the amount of support it's getting. And I really wanted to contribute to the cause and to spreading of the word. And the other side is I have so many DevOps people I want to hire for my department. We're a new up-and-coming. We have very well-backed. Shomi is backed by Rogers & Shaw, but we're an independent company, so we're doing our own thing. We're not corporate type or anything like that. So if your interests are moving, you're a DevOps developer, no video or don't know video, cloud computing experience, watch out, look at our LinkedIn page. We got a lot of positions open. Shout to me. We have a table in the room. That's it. If you have any questions, try us out. We have amazing content, really competing. Okay? Cool.
All right, thanks, Augusto. So next up, we have actually one of our own organizers who will be doing an Ignite. Give it up for Fozzie.
Hello. Hi, my name is Fozzie. I work for TELUS, and today I want you to keep DevOps hip. These are my Twitter accounts. We can continue the conversation after, and sometimes people call me the Fonz. Hip, the Fonz. So today, once upon a time, there was a Jedi. Patrick Dubois and others, around 2008, started talking about agile infrastructure. And since then, the term DevOps took off, and really people started, around that time, started wondering what the whole DevOps thing was about. So a whole bunch of definitions came up. Just search Google, and you'll find all of them. A lot of them have a lot of commonalities between them. There were some slight differences, but they were broad enough that people felt, I think I get it. Let's just go do some DevOps. And people ran away and went back to their workplaces, and they started doing DevOps. And then some variations of, or different forms of DevOps started coming up. And that formed what I like to call DevOps fanaticism, right? And O'Reilly called it the identity crisis. We love you, O'Reilly. So we hear forms of this all the time, of people saying, oh, this is not DevOps, you've got to be kidding me. The closest thing this comes down to is like leanified, agile-ish improvement initiative thingy at best. And when did DevOps become a serial killer? You can find an article about DevOps killing pretty much anything you want on the internet. You know what I think? People started gravitating towards the certification thing just because of this whole killing stuff. Whoa, killing? I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to be peaceful. I better get certified and get my safety training. I hear the tests are pretty hard as well, so you probably want to avoid those. I think if I work hard enough, I'll probably be in a DevOps manifesto room. Guys, don't get your hopes up. I don't think DevOps and Agile are exactly apples to apples. There might be some similarities, but I wouldn't put my money on a DevOps manifesto anytime soon. This whole thing, certification, the manifesto, they're not really cool. I don't think they go well with the DevOps spirit. So DevOps is about continuous improvement and not about so much restricting down what exactly people should be doing at the application level. So what do you want me to do? No certification, no definition. What do I work by? Well, attending conferences like this helps. Also, shout out to Steve and My Planet for putting out the DevOps checklist. You can check it out, and they provide you a bucket list of things on what to do. Context matters. Don't expect at any point in time that people will be doing the exact same thing at the same time, especially during the DevOps adoption phase. People will take their time to mature, and when they do, we might converge towards something towards the end. These are some of the things that should be common. Don't take from this presentation that you could be doing nothing, and then that could still be called DevOps, because that's not the case either. So two different extremes that we should avoid. This is pretty much like difference between indoor soccer and outdoor soccer, and field hockey and ice hockey. And there are so many commonalities between them. You have a ball, you have two goalies, you have two nets. The rules are a little bit different. You have the puck and the stick and hockey and so on and so forth. So really practice over theory, and time is way too valuable for us to waste it just discussing what DevOps is and isn't, and better spent applying this DevOps in our day-to-day life and improving that instead. Because like I said, it is really about continuous improvement. What kills me the most is when people go, whoa, I think we're DevOps now. We have nothing else to do. We're done. We are DevOps. Right? So it's really about the process and the path to get there, not about the destination. So in theory, by definition, it's never really done. And these are some just wise words that should help me make my point about what continuous improvement is really about. And that's exactly how we should really treat DevOps. That's it. Thank you. Some references to leave you with are the presentation by Adam Jacob at ChefCon. It's amazing, compares DevOps and Kung Fu. And it's exactly about that, DevOps in terms of form and application. And then the second one is an article by Eric Minnick, which you can find on devops.com. We can keep the conversation going either at Open Spaces or on Twitter. Thank you very much.
Great job, Fozzie. Killer. See, to me, continuous improvement always involved drinking, but that's just me. All right, so next up, we've got sponsors. More sponsors. Please continue to give a round of applause for our sponsors. This is IBM.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. My name's Chris Brealey. I'm a software developer and a professional nerd at our IBM lab in Markham, just north of the Big Smoke here. And I'm here with some of my buddies. There's the Herman and Chris show right there, and Daniel's out there somewhere in the audience. We lost Rodrigo to a customer meeting earlier. Look, DevOps has been a heck of a journey for us, and we are far from done with it. But we have been trying to employ the practices the best we can, tread new ground. We've been working hot and heavy on solutions for DevOps, both in and off the cloud. It's been a lot of fun, and we know we're not done. We're here to share any of our experiences, and more importantly, we want to keep hearing what you think of DevOps and where you are on the journey, what's working for you, what isn't, what have you tried, what's been fun, what's good, bad, and ugly. To that end, please come by our table number 10 out there in the foyer. We got swag, we got t-shirts and tote bags. I think they're going pretty fast though, so, make a beeline over there. We want to talk to you. We want to hear what you think of DevOps. Last but not least, hit bluemix.net. There's my plug. It's built on Cloud Foundry. It actually is really cool, even though it's from IBM. Please give it a try. Lots of neat stuff in the catalog to play with. With that, my absolute thanks for having us here. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's a great conference. Got to do more of these. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. All right, next up, more Ignites. Here they come. This is Jason from VictorOps. 3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone.
And go.
All right. So yeah, we're here to talk about ChatOps, and it was a pretty popular open space yesterday, so I'm excited to be able to talk a little bit more about it today. I wanted to give you some real-world examples of some things that you could be doing to sort of understand a little bit more about what this subject is. So ChatOps has been around for a while, actually. There's a guy from GitHub named Jesse Newland who's been talking about it for quite some time. And actually, the term ChatOps is where it actually originated in GitHub. And he always says it's placing tools directly into the middle of the conversation. So what does that mean exactly? Well, simply put, it's all of the tools and all of the services that we know and love and use every single day, all being moved into the conversation, right in line with chat. And coupled with the fact that we've got these bots now that are starting to pop up in a variety of different frameworks and languages, we're now able to essentially move the command line, as well as just the ability to go into other websites and find information, all into the conversation, which adds so many different benefits. I'm going to list off just a few of the benefits here in a moment, but the point is that we've now got these bots that can be our friends, that can be our coworkers. They've got this really, really unique power to just not care how many times you ask it to do something. It's always going to give you the answer. And so by being able to move these bots into our chat conversation, it's starting to provide these different things to us as operations, as devs, as marketing, as sales, as everybody. And a few of them are sharing. DevOps teaches us to share everything. Well, by moving that into conversations, or that information in the conversation, it's all there. Speed, learning, the fact that we can now just actually take action and do the thing that we were going to do and inherently teach others how to do that, it's all within chat. Security, brainstorming, and most probably more important than anything, it's just fun. So anytime we can bring fun into our day-to-day life, that's going to be very beneficial. So maybe, hopefully at this point, you're thinking, all right, I'm interested, you've got me, got my gears turning a little bit, but I really need to see some real-life examples, which is really sort of the point of this whole talk. And so the next few examples, the next few slides I'm going to show, are not only examples that you could be doing as a developer or as a member of your operations team, but also from sales, marketing, technical support, finance, and maybe a few other things. So let's start with the devs. The first obvious thing is doing a Jenkins build. Now, I've counted a few times, and I think it's like maybe 4 or 5 clicks that it takes to actually do a build within Jenkins, but you can ask your bot to do it right in the conversation. And now, not only are you building that, doing that build, but you're teaching others how to do it and showing them that it's been done. The same thing with GitHub. Anytime you're going to push code out into GitHub, you could do it in your command line and then go into chat and let everybody else know that you've done it, but by doing it in chat, you kind of do both those steps at the same time. And let's talk about ops. VictorOps is an alert and incident management platform, so we love being able to move all that information into the conversation because it's super important to what's going on when you're in the middle of an incident. So being able to just deal with all of that and acknowledge that you're working on things in chat is super beneficial. How about support? Our support team loves to extend trials. They also like to check in on when was the last time we had a conversation with one of our customers. All that information is stored in some other service, but you can just get it right in chat, and that's super powerful. Our support team also likes to submit new feature requests on behalf of our customers. And previously, that was kind of a tedious step to go in and add that to whatever service we were keeping that in. But now you can just do it as though you're just talking to another coworker. And using the power of APIs, we can add that into whatever service or feature request service we're using. I do a lot of blogs. Sometimes I want to know how many headcount, or what's my headcount? How many people do I have showing up for one of these webinars, webinars. I can now go in and find that out and then immediately ask my bot to go ahead and promote that for me, and it's going to push it out to all of my social media networks. How about lead count? Sales and marketing always is keeping an eye on how many leads do we have for a certain quarter. All that's kept in a number of different places, but they can just ask the bot, and the bot's going to give it to them immediately. Some other things I can do, we keep track of the blogs that I write all in a Trello board, so I know when things are coming up and when do I have deliverables. I can ask somebody, and maybe they know the answer, but I could ask my bot. He always knows the answer. And he's going to come back and tell me that I have a blog due on the 30th. In finance even, they're always paying attention to, well, among a bunch of things, how many paid users do we have this quarter, or maybe just in general? How many people have not paid their invoices in the last 30 days? All that information is available in a lot of different places, but our bot knows how to get it immediately. And probably more importantly, it's always fun. And finding just unique and creative ways to do this stuff within ChatOps is really sort of how you get this traction and get things going. You could even throw a mustache on Steve if you want, or anybody you'd like. I can go on and on about ChatOps. I'm happy to talk more about it. There's still some books left out at the VictorOps table. You can download it for free, or you can just hit me up on Twitter, and I'm happy to hook you up with it. So that's my talk, and I appreciate the opportunity to be up here.
All right, ChatOps. I assume everyone's going to want to talk about ChatOps again, right? Yes, no? Guys are tired of the dry humor from the organizers? All right. So next up, we have another sponsor, Paul from Microsoft.
Hi. So my name is Paul. I'm from Microsoft, maker of fan favorites such as the Blue Screen of Death, Vista, Front Page, and Clippy. Access, another fan favorite. What's that? Windows B? Yeah, fair enough. Well, we'll just stop at that. How about that? Anyways, first off, I want to say thank you very much to everybody for inviting us to this conference. We've had a great time talking to a lot of you. If you haven't had a chance to talk to us at our booth, we'd be very happy and we'd love to talk to you. I think you may find out that we're not the company that we were in the past. Hopefully, you'll notice that we're not the Dark Lords of the Sith that we were either, so there's that. I'd like to introduce some of my coworkers. So Madiha, Anthony, and Pierre are all over there. All of us are here to answer your questions, so just let me know if you have any questions. So thank you.
All right. And for our last Ignite talk of the day, we have Paul from PagerDuty.
Thank you. So yes, my name is Paul Osman, and I'm going to talk briefly on HTTP and ACID. This is a small project that my team worked on. It's not a great engineering effort. It's just a small thing that we worked on for a week and a half to improve some of the notifications within our system. So when I'm talking about ACID, I'm not talking about hallucinogenics. I'm talking about atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability, a set of properties that help you guarantee transactional reliability in databases. This is from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. This is not new. But I'm actually going to be talking about atomicity and durability. I just wanted the fancy title. So I'm going to be talking about atomicity, which is something happened or it didn't happen, and durability, which is the fact that we can be reliably sure that something, once it's committed, is actually there. I work for PagerDuty. How many people use PagerDuty here? Awesome. Okay, so you know that for those who don't use PagerDuty or haven't heard of us, we're the world's best operations performance management system. We send you alerts when things break, so reliability is really important to us. So let's look at HTTP, making a web call. Doing read-only is really easy. You request something, and you either get it or you don't. You're pretty sure you know if it worked or not. The situation changes, of course, when you're going to do writing. So here we're doing a post to some path. We provide some kind of request body. And what do we get back? An HTTP 503. Service temporarily unavailable. This is one of those magic codes that can mean really any number of things. Or even worse, we get a connection timeout. So connection timeout, we don't know, at what point did something go wrong. The point is in either of these situations, we're left wondering a little bit, and we're not really sure what happened. So at this point, we've done some write, and our system is in some inconsistent state. So imagine it was a series of writes maybe that were part of a transaction. Maybe it partially succeeded, maybe it didn't succeed. We're not really sure. And there have been efforts to try to kind of come up with standards or protocols. People have built pub subsystems on HTTP, and some of them have been quite successful, but they were a little too complicated for our use case. We just wanted something simple. And the reason we care about this at PagerDuty is, within our system, there's a lot of state changes happening, and because of the nature of the data that we're dealing with, state changes are all important. If you have an alert come through and it's acknowledged by the time you get it, that's not good. So when we were thinking about this, we were thinking about what we don't want, and we didn't want to add any additional pieces to our infrastructure. We didn't want to add any operational complexity. So this is a problem that lends itself well to queuing systems. We didn't want that. We did want some kind of causal ordering. This is really important when messages flow through our system. So like I gave an example, if you receive a notification after it's been acknowledged, that's a really bad thing. Or you can't acknowledge a notification, for instance, that hasn't been created yet. So if you get notification of the acknowledgement, that's bad. We also wanted something that was fairly reusable. This is a pattern that sort of appears throughout our infrastructure, so we were hoping something small, something that we could containerize in a modular sense and then reuse. So we came up with something really simple, which is just that when there's an incident state change, when something happens, we dump a payload to a DB-backed queue. In this case, we're using ExtraDB, and that in-queue process is actually wrapped in a transaction. So if it fails, it fails. We have a separate process that reads from that queue and just simply dequeues notifications and sends. And importantly, it keeps track of whether that send was successful, and upon failure, we can push it back to the front of the queue. So this gives us the two things that we were really thinking about, which is the ability to retry notification if it fails, and the ability to wrap things in transactions. So being able to say that this either happened fully or it didn't happen at all, and we're not left with any kind of inconsistent state where there could be odd side effects. So why do we care about this? This is for message passing within our system. Obviously, some cases it actually makes more sense to fire and forget if you're dealing with some sort of broadcast. In our case, what we're dealing with are incidents that are happening. And in that case, you're talking about operations performance, so reliability really matters to us. We want some kind of way to make this a little better than it was, which means that we know when to retry things, we know when to roll things back. Has anybody seen this going around the web? So what I described as an example of a simple project, this was a really, really complicated project. If anyone's a fan of debugging, take a look at this. This is the kind of stuff that we tend to care about at PagerDuty. If you're interested in those kinds of problems, we're hiring. Check out pagerduty.com/jobs. We're hiring in Toronto and SF. Thanks very much.
All right. So that was our last Ignite talk. We have one more talk, and then we'll have our open spaces. So next up is Philip Corliss. You can come on out. This talks building systems focused on developer happiness.
How's it going? Whoa, slow down, folks. Need you to get my speed for a second.
You're good.
All right, how's that look? Everyone can see it? Everyone's happy? I'm happy. Are you folks happy? Woo! It's going to be great. So this is a really big